Welcome back to another episode of Dimash. I'm your host, Jeff, and this is BSTV. Really looking forward to this one. Ave Maria has always been a favorite song of mine. I was in high school. I was maybe in grade 10, I want to say. And um, the priest in our school, he came up to me and he said, Jeff, how would you like to go to a retreat with a few other students? Um, I was I was like, well, what's it all about? And he said, we're just gonna go to uh, a place on the lake. Uh, a couple teachers, myself, and some students that we're just gonna handpick, and we're gonna spend the weekend just kind of doing fun things, workshops, stuff like that. And I thought to myself, yeah, that sounds delightful. And excuse me. So we went, and there was a few people that I knew, uh, people that I wanted to know more, and there was people that I just wasn't sure about. Some people brought musical instruments, other people just brought a smile. But there was one friend of mine who brought her voice, and I didn't know this, but she was a singer, and so one morning, I went out for a walk, towards the lake. It was winter time. There was snow on the ground. The lake was frozen, and I walked to like this little kind of cliff area because the the retreat facility was kind of above sea level, and then there was this grassy area. Of course, it was snowy, and then a drop off, not too much of a drop, but maybe like 20, 30 feet, and then lake, frozen lake. But there was a bench at the end of this grassy area right before the drop off. And my friend was sitting there alone, kind of staring off as the sun was rising, and she was singing Ave Maria. And I was just blown away. It was such a beautiful rendition. She had this most perfect voice. And myself and a couple other members that were there heard her. And so she was asked to perform for the group, and she obliged. It was just a really memorable experience for me. And now every time I hear that song, I'm kind of brought back. And so when this this particular piece was suggested to me by a few listeners, it didn't take more than one, and I said, "Yes, I'm definitely doing Ave Maria. There's no way I wouldn't. Especially Dimash. Come on, he's a superstar. His voice is beyond perfect. Uh, he could never ever ruin Ave Maria. He could only just emphasize the beauty of it, and that's what I'm kind of expecting. Now, why am I doing this performance? Hauser, come on, he is one of my favorites, and I only learned about him because of this deep dive of Dimash. And so, thank you all for joining me today, and please, I don't know how to word this. Thank you for joining me, experiencing one of my favorite songs ever, um, and done with two amazing artists, Dimash and Hauser. So looking forward to this. Let's get right into it. Oh, I love that when they slap five and give each other a hug at the end. I love that. That's like bros, you know? Bro, that was awesome. Give me some skins, bro. That is nothing like I expected, okay? But Dimash, wow. You can't even like use words to describe his voice. It's impossible. Any word I choose will be a disservice to his voice and what he can do with it. So powerful. So much control. It pulls my whole being outside of my body when he sings every single time. I just again, I'm at a loss for words. I'm like thinking, okay, well, the right word's going to come to me, but they don't. And so then I think, oh, shoot, I don't have the words, and there's going to be silence, and I'm going to look dumb. And you know what? Like, let's face it, in the presence of his impeccable performances, I am really just, you know, plain. I'm just this guy. I'm just this guy next to him. Ah, I want to meet him. I want to meet him. Wow. And Hauser, like, how can you just a compliment to Dimash's voice, and his performances. Just a compliment. Hauser is just, I think, like a perfect compliment to what Dimash, what he exudes. Um, I don't want to take anything away from any of the artists that Dimash works with, any of the musicians. I don't, because they're all perfect in their own way. But I put Dimash on a pedestal, like really high up pedestal, and just consistently blown away by his voice, you know. And I'm going to be honest with you. When I would read the comments of the like the subscribers, the people that were, maybe not subscribing but just viewing my videos and then responding, and like the comments that I was reading uh were basic on the lines of, you know, best voice in the world, perfect voice, no one better. And I just always thought, like, okay, those are your opinions. There's a lot of great voices in the world. And, like, how can we just say that one is better than the rest? I mean, I'm, again, like, okay, let me just use an example. Um, there's the grunge era in the 90s. And Eddie Vedder, lead singer of Pearl Jam. I love his unique voice. Okay. And then I have a friend of mine who happened to like the lead singer of Soundgarden, Chris Cornell. And this friend of mine, Derek, says that Chris Cornell has the best voice in the world. And I always said, well, I mean, I am partial to Eddie Vedder. And then you can't talk about grunge without speaking about Lane Staley, the lead singer of, or was, Alice in Chains. Now, they all have very unique voices, and they are all amazing in their own right. Now, Chris Cornell and Lane Staley both passed away, um, far too young. Eddie Vedder still carries on, continues on with his music, and he's an amazing artist. And so I can speak of these three singers and how amazing they are. And so when I when we say Dimash has the best singing voice in the world, I think that, we have to be careful with that, you know. Um, for what Dimash can accomplish as a vocalist, his range, I don't know anyone who has a range as broad as his. Um, Mariah Carey has a massive range, but hers, like, her range tops out at some serious highs. I don't know that she can go as low um, as Dimash. Um, so I'm not a vocal coach. I'm not a vocalist. I am just an enthusiast, and I just I feel it's necessary for me to explain myself when I say that Dimash has one of the best voices in the world, if not the greatest singing voice in the world, because like I can separate Lane Staley, Chris Cornell, and Eddie Vedder and consider all three of those artists superstars with their voice. They're so unique. And so I feel it's necessary for me to honor them as great, great singers. And it's just, I can't compare Dimash to them or them to Dimash. Um, I want to just, be, I want to be like the dad who says to his children, I love you all equally. And I also love you for different reasons. And not one of you is above the next. And I want to be like that when I speak about these three grunge singers and Dimash in the same sentence. I want to say that I love them all for different reasons. I love them equally, and they're all amazing singers. And I just want to be really careful when I try to say that someone is the best singer. They all do something different. And I think that Dimash can do everything. Honestly, I haven't seen enough of his music, and maybe I'm talking about this way too long. Dimash is otherworldly with his voice. I've heard nothing like it before. I am I'm stupefied by his ability, and I cannot wait to hear more, to experience more. If there was like a singing competition, what Dimash can do with his voice, he likely would win. I think it's important to realize when when we experience someone so amazing as Dimash, um, and he is, we have to know that in art we are all winners, and I appreciate what you all bring to the table. So that was it. This is the episode. This is Dimash. This is Ave Maria. And we were blessed with a little bit of Hauser as well. And so grateful for it. Grateful for you guys for supporting me, for commenting, continuing to react and to respond and to interact with me. I love it. And thank you. Hey, thank you so much uh, for telling me where you're from. Like I just worked for 2 days out of town, and I was seeing all these more, Argentina, Germany, parts of Canada, like US. Ah, just I love it. I just love it. I think it's Indonesia. Like I'm just seeing flashes of all these comments from all of you guys and where you're from. want to say I saw Serbia, Slovenia. Like, I love it. I just think it's so great that we can connect like this. You know, I want to learn how to put up like a comment bar on the screen so that we can all see each other in real time commenting. I think that like you guys connect with me and I read the comments, and then you guys connect with each other in the responses and the comments that you all read. But in real time, to experience that together, I think that would just be so amazing to be able to almost be there with each other. I want to figure out how to do that on this platform. So look forward to that. Thank you all for tuning in, and we will see you guys next Sunday. Peace and love.